What I want to share with you today comes from Making Ripples by Mike Breaux, and it's a chapter titled A Destiny or Accidental Like. He says, when I look around our culture, I see lots of people who really believe we just kind of show up accidental like, and we just float around accidental like a feather on a breeze. I used to believe it, used to float around too. I understand how people can buy into that, because these days we're taught at a very young age that we come from nothing and we're going back to nothing. So basically everything in between is just kind of, well, nothing. If that is true, then there is no destiny, there is no purpose. And if there is no purpose, there is no truth. If there's no truth, then there's no right, there's no wrong. And we all just kind of show up accidental like, and we float around on a breeze all the way through our lives. We make up the rules as we go. I agree with Chuck Colson's assertion that our culture is framed by talk show truth. Have you ever watched any of those talk shows? Unlike music or movies, they seldom move me. Maybe that's because all these shows pretty much cover the same kind of topics. I was home with the flu one morning, surfing the channels and hoping to find The Price is Right, the most exciting hour of television, when a talk show caught my attention. A lady was seated on the stage with 5 guys around her in a semicircle, and this little blue caption came up on the screen to identify her particular issue. It said this woman had had affairs with all 5 of her husband's brothers. I raised my eyebrows and thought, whoa. But that wasn't all. Then the host went into the audience and gave the microphone to this guy, who stood up and said something like, hey, whatever, dude. I think if they're cool with it and he's cool with it and she's cool with it, then I say go for it. The audience applauded and cheered, and I'm thinking, whoa. Talk show truth. Whatever, dude. No wonder sociologists have labeled this generation the whatever generation. I understand that, because if we really do just show up accidental like, if there is no destiny, and there is no purpose, and there is no truth, and there are no rules, and there is no right or wrong, then it is all kind of a big whatever, isn't it? I wasn't really shocked when a recent survey of American high school students found that nearly 80% of them said they don't believe there's such a thing as absolute truth. That there is no absolute right or absolute wrong. Whatever you need truth to be in the situation you're in, it's fine. 67% of those students said they regularly cheated on exams. Whatever. 66% said they regularly drink alcohol. Whatever. 56% said they regularly shoplift. Whatever. I remember when this kid came up to my daughter in high school and said, now, let me get this straight. Isn't it true that you Christians, can't have sex until you're 18? Jody replied, well, actually, God's design for sex is for when you get married. He shrugged and said, whatever. Take a look sometime at the website for the Bureau of Justice Statistics. I logged on not long ago and looked up some facts about violent crime. Good news. From 1994 to 2003, the violent crime rate in the United States steadily declined. In 2005, it reached its lowest rate ever, all the way down to 5,341,410 acts of violent crime for the year. Incidentally, 29% of those crimes were committed under the influence of drugs or alcohol, which tends to take whatever to another level. However, although the crime rate dropped for adults, among 12 to 15-year-old kids, violent crime has skyrocketed in the past 20 years by a staggering 156%. In addition to alerting us to a frightening trend, this number also demonstrates how the floating around variety of indifference can slip into something far more callous. I heard that when a 15-year-old gang member was indicted for murder, his buddies were incensed that the judge would set what they considered an unrealistically high bail on their friend. They were quoted as saying in the courtroom lobby, we don't understand what the big deal is. People die every day. Whatever. And crime is hardly the only consequence of such a mindset. Ever seen MTV's Spring Break, which documents students' sexual excesses as they celebrate a week away from school? If you're a parent, watching that may feel a little like whatever gone wild, especially when you remember that you're seeing the edited for television version. If you allow your kids to go unchaperoned to those popular spring break destinations, understand that you'll be putting them right in the middle of a huge whatever, including alcohol binging, sexually transmitted diseases, and all kinds of stuff. Of course, if we just show up accidental like and float around like a feather on a breeze, then it's really no big deal, right?